Yeah, I'm ready.
So it's just a perfect bodyboarding wave.
Lastimó toda la cara y los dientes me chirriaron un
Didn't
poco.
even jump off my board. I just tried to choke Jason Brown.
The windpipe.
There we go. All right. What's up, fellas? Thank you guys for taking the time and, chatting with me here on Book Life. First, introduce yourselves and let us know what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Sam, you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. I'm Sam. I've been shooting out at Shark Island for the past 10, 15 years since I was a grommet, and just learned everything I knew about surfing and bodyboarding out there, and kind of taken on the task to run the challenge because it hasn't run in a few years with the lads alongside me, and going to be in charge of all things media and documenting the day pretty much.
Awesome. Do you have a team?
Yeah, well, we've got a bunch of guys who've been shooting out there as well their whole life, so know the angles, know the spots. We're working alongside a few production companies as well for the live stream, and yeah, we've definitely got a solid bunch of crew behind us to help us document the day.
So sick. Awesome.
And Sad?
All right, I'm Mark Sadler. Sads, Cronulla local, been surfing Shark Island for 20 plus years. Was a late call up to the last event in 20. And the pinnacle of bodyboarding.
Hold on, Sads. Go back 10 seconds because I dropped you for about 10 seconds.
Hey, I'm Sads. I'm in the committee with the boys. I'm a Shark Island local, been out there 20 plus years, got a great relationship with all the locals and the local community. And we're all in this together, and hopefully we can bring it back to life how it should be, the pinnacle.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, sweet. And my name's Luke O'Connor. I've been also growing up and surfing and bodyboarding with these gents next to me for the last 20, 25 years. Been lucky to grow up in Southern Shire, Hobbitsville, and have occasionally left, but never really want to leave. And yeah, I've enjoyed all the waves around here. Obviously, we've got a lot of good rock ledges to home bodyboarding on. It's been the epicenter of bodyboarding on the East Coast, in my opinion, for a long period of time, all the way through the skid kids, bringing it through to the next generations with Pino and Lester, Ballard, Rissole, Purse, Robson. They're all in there. There's some incredible names, and we're just lucky enough to bring this competition back from a 6-year hiatus. And with the hard work of Sam Van and Mark Sadler next to me, we're hopefully going to make that happen from the 23rd of May to the 30th of June. Fingers and toes crossed, Manny. We need a swell, brother. We need a swell.
Yeah. I mean, what happened? What happened in those last 6 years where it's been, it hasn't been around? What happened?
I mean, I don't want to speak on behalf of the boys, but my opinion really would be like there was a multitude of factors. Obviously, we had COVID there for 2 or 3 years, which was a real nasty kind of bout for the whole world, obviously, and a lot of international competition shut down. I know the IBC had to have a year off there too. And so I guess leading in and out of COVID, we just had lack of swells. We had lack of organizational infrastructure, resources at hand. And I think there was a bit of a changing of the guard when it came to
lack of Alex Leon.
Yeah, exactly. Big prize, making it all happen.
He's the
oh my gosh. I mean, so what got you guys motivated to take the reins and get this show back on the road?
We well, obviously, like Luke said, it's been a hiatus for 6 years. This is our 7th year. It's sort of like you paddle out there, and some days are so good, and you watch the locals out there, and I feel like we all deserve it. Like the local community deserves it. The younger generation haven't experienced what we have from 1997, and then the 2001. Well, Mike winning in 2000 was like the epicenter of our lives. So I would have been 15.
Yeah.
And you're on the rocks watching Mike Stewart. win at your local area, and you can't even get a wave out there because you're only 15 years old. And it just brings so much raw emotion and hype, and you want that to continue to other generations.
Yeah.
And it will. We just have to make sure it all happens.
And what were some of the obstacles and what were some of the hard things that you guys had to deal with, or probably still dealing with, to make it happen?
Oh, there's been a couple. There's definitely been a couple. I mean, probably from the ground up, Manny, just at the start, having that 6-year break, a lot of local and, more broadly speaking, national and international brands were looking at the project as maybe a bit of a risk, just because there hasn't had that consistent backing, and there's not the year in, year out consistency of that comp running. It's hard to fall back on, past like YouTube hits or, community interest or international outreach. So I guess that was one of the biggest tasks. And, our president here, Mark Sads, was pushing hard for sponsorship on any sort of level. And we've really come together with a really good group of local, national and international brands to make this come back together. And then I think also to us working with the local council and the governing bodies like Surfing New South Wales, Surfing Australia, and just Southern Shire Council. We need to give a huge shout out to that organisation, allowing this event to go ahead and just getting through the red tape, because we're just three bodyboarders having a good time, and we really didn't know the undertaking and of which we were kind of stepping into. So that's probably been the biggest hurdle in my opinion. Sam, have you got anything to add to that?
No, yeah. No, I'd agree. It's just having people understand what you're trying to do, and it's just relying on the bodyboarding companies that see and know how prestigious the event is to bring that to life and fund us so we can make everything we want happen. And we want the prize pool to be spectacular so that it's an event people want to come out for and surf in. And it's just, been getting that funding, which we've been able to do, and working out those budgets so that we can divvy it up in ways that we still afford everything we need, but run a really good event.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious that one of the main guys behind the sponsorship team or the sponsorships is Bodyboard King. And we know who runs that show. And for him to step up and say, here, whatever you need. But who else? Name some of the sponsors that you do have that were like, let's do this.
Yeah, well, big shout out to Toby for doing that. That's
sure.
Amazing that he could get behind us in the early days and make it reality for us, which is great.
We've got Hub Boards come on. They've been amazing. Like Jeff and the crew have been, really attentive and just wanting this event to get off the ground. Innovative Home Loans here in the Shire and in the greater reaches of New South Wales, that they've obviously been a huge supporter. Handpicked Bodyboards, local shapers and legends, Mike Lossler and Mark Rossu, just making stuff happen here in the Shire, and really producing quality custom boards that all of us ride and get such a good kick out of. Am I missing anyone?
And then we got all the so we did Toby is the head naming sponsor, and then we've got Hubboards, Handpicked, and Innovative Home Loans as the co-presenting sponsors. And then underneath that, each rider, you'll see when a rider comes up on our socials that they all are sponsored by a company, which necessarily isn't bodyboarding related, but it's just an avenue for extra revenue. It's like so here in Australia, when they play rugby league, you have the team sponsors, the event sponsors, and then you have individual sponsors, which cover all the costs for that rider, for their insurance. It covers their entry fee, it covers the prize money, everything that way. So we actually pulled 25 individual sponsors, which are all legends and have helped so massively. Without them, we wouldn't have gotten over the line.
Yeah, agree.
And not to mention the partnerships we've made with production companies like Trent from Sporting News has been amazing with helping produce some pre-content, and is going to help put that hype reel together. And then guys like Adrian Everton, who's helped with giving us live footage from when we've had swells recently and cutting little clips together for some sponsor clips as well. So we've had some great partnerships from those production guys as well.
And probably another shout out to Riptide too. Like as
definitely.
Sam was just saying, like Adrian Everton's footage and Trent's work has gone towards promoting those trials online. And hopefully this podcast, when it still airs, there will be time for people to enter those online trials. We've got a healthy amount at the moment, but Riptide have definitely put a good digital infrastructure behind that side of the competition to be able to, sort through 2 possible spots for the for the challenge. Like anyone in the world can enter, and so
11 days to go.
Yeah, 11 days to go. Yeah,
Let's pick a winner.
So I did go on the website. I saw that and I thought that was a brilliant idea. They got to pay $99 for their submission. They get a Riptide premium subscription, but the submission, they get 3 waves, looking for a big barrel and a big maneuver, essentially showing that they're not going to die at Shark Island if they show up and it's going off. But how is the judging format for the trials? Like all these people are submitting videos and photos, but how are they being picked?
So I guess the panel will be consisting of the Shark Island Committee, the Riptide conglomerate, and also Bodyboard Kingdom, and they will be picked again on their merit, their ability to handle the current situation, as you said, like of 8 to 10 foot bombing waves, and also just how much they've impressed us through their clip. Like you've only got 3 waves, Manny, to showcase what you can do in the air and in large barrel settings. So I guess that is really what is going to determine it. You need to be able to kind of wow us from the get-go and be like, well, you deserve to be in the top 25 invitations into the Shark Island Challenge this year.
How difficult was it to make that list of 20 or 25? I mean, I'm sure I actually threw a couple names at you guys, and you said it was full. What was that how did you guys get that initial list of invitations to go out? I mean, that alone would have got me gray hairs.
Look at my beard. I'm coming go so quickly.
There was just names getting thrown around from the very beginning, and it's just lists that just kind of became smaller and smaller. And it was the most challenging thing. That's another challenge definitely we've ever done.
Sure.
Yeah, it obviously to get Bodyboard King on board in his contract is to have 5 riders. He gets to pick 5 riders. Hubboard's got to pick a few. Handpick got to pick a few. So that was, they've got to get their advertising, their marketing back for their money value. And then, so pretty much that was nearly half the field gone.
Yeah.
And then 2 go to trials. And then we're left with probably 10 spots.
Yeah.
And then we reached out to every bodyboard company nearly.
Pretty much.
And we gave them the opportunity to financially support their rider. And you'll see that in the upcoming weeks through socials and everything. And it's sort of like we also had to pick, we said at the very start, we want to go, it was originally going to be 20 people. We're going to go 10 under 30, 10 over 30, which these days under 30 is sort of classified as a grommet for some reason.
Right.
So we still, I think we did pretty well.
For sure. There is a pretty even split.
If you look across, I think we're pretty good across that.
Especially if you look in some of the trials entries, and a lot of them are under 30 at the moment.
Yeah.
You would assume that those 2 trial spots, probably there's still 11 days to go, as like Sadler stated, will be under 30. So if you split up the field, I think we were looking at 13 over 30 and 12 under 30 at this current stage. So I mean, it is really hard to appease everyone's opinions when it does come to the competition. I know we had in the last couple of months a really good online back and forth banter with Damien King, 3 times world champion, an absolute legend. And obviously he would be an amazing inclusion in the competition. There were some behind the scenes things that just didn't marry up in regards to his availability and his possible commitment to the comp. But at any stage, you could have had another 20, 30 bodyboarders included in that lineup. So I mean, there's hopefully years to come where we can get all those different people in. But at this current stage, we wanted to mix, as Sav and Sam were saying, a really good mix of international riders, local riders, but definitely focusing on a younger generation. And hence I've included a 16-year-old Anthony Miller, which usually you would steer clear of because of not because you don't want to include the young generation, but because of the experience you need to surf Shark Island. But he has demonstrated from a very young age, he has got gonads of steel, Manny, and he just wants to go hard out there. And even in that last swell, he's actually featured in a lot of the clips we put up on social media through the trials, through Adrian Emmerdon's footage of him getting an absolute macking one on one of the last East. Yeah. So we want to tick all the boxes. We're not going to please everyone, but we really hope that everyone gets a kick out of this year's lineup.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if Anthony freaking took out the event and freaking raised that trophy? That is totally possible from what you're saying. But yeah, it's going to be very exciting. And I know you have a sponsor for the live streaming, which means it will be broadcasted live.
Yep.
Definitely.
Oh
So that's going to their YouTube. And they've got over 120,000 subscribers. So we'll be putting that link up everywhere. And we're so grateful to be able to use that platform to broadcast live.
That is freaking awesome. And make sure you get me that link too, because I want to make sure.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Damn it, will be over by the end.
Yeah. I mean, everything that I'm hearing and seeing and the marketing you guys are doing is top notch. I mean, some of the names you guys are dropping so far, can you give us that list who have confirmed 100%, who will essentially get there and stay there for the month and a half for the waiting period, or get on a plane 2-3 days before the event is called, which is crazy to me because you're going to show up jet lag and it's 8-foot Shark Island, but these guys can do it. So yeah, who do you have so far?
Sav's got it here.
Yeah, sorry, we're putting it in front. So with the confirm, we still got a name to drop actually. A couple.
Oh, this is the first.
Could be a good friend of yours too. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, so we've got Mike and Tanner. They are coming over very soon. I spoke to Tanner the other day. I think they're coming over early May. So they want to. I think he wants to get the feel of it all. Like, you know, if you're coming over 4 weeks early for an event, you're pretty keen.
You're committed.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then we've got Jared Houston. He spent a lot of time in Cronulla. He's obviously great to have in around. Everyone here loves him. He's surfed it. Andrew Lester said he surfs the best out there I've seen anyone ever. So
big call from Andrew Lester.
Yeah, it's like tick, you know.
Exactly.
And we've got Jacob Romero. He's also spent a lot of time here, and his aerials are just mind blowing.
And if you watch that clip that he produced or maybe brought out 6 to 8 weeks ago of him hitting airs over surge, Manny.
It's like a beach break. He treats it like a beach break.
Can't wait to see
critical, yeah. The sections he hits, like no one else even looks at them. It's crazy.
Yeah, I saw the video.
The big one that I feel is PLC. So we gave him and Amore a really early invites, but before there was really any sponsors, because we were like, we need these guys. And they said, they're not sure what they can do with the world tour. Obviously, it's going to tie in with Antofagasta Festival.
Yeah.
Are they conflicting?
Yeah, there's a little bit, but that's up to them. They can do what they want.
I mean, sorry to cut you off, but man, if I'm Maury, of course I'm going to go to Shark Island. I mean, yes, he may miss an event on the world tour, but this is like one of those specialty events where, you know, if he wins it, because he's on a good run right now, and to satisfy the, you know, Maury getting their name out there, you know, on that level, yeah, I'm, you know, kudos to him for confirming.
Yeah, so he, when he signed with Maury, it was just big that he's like, I think he wrote to you.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He said something like, "Oh fuck it, I'm coming."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And we're like, oh shit, we're nearly full. We can't not have him.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And then do you want to go through them?
Yeah, sweet. And so then Bodyboard King has chosen obviously Liam Lucas, an unbelievable talent here in Australia and has competed on the World Tour last year. Louis Finnegan, who is just an all-time performer in big waves, small waves. The Three Amigos, obviously an unbelievable cinematography feat there from him in his career, and he's competed on the World Tour numerous times before, and also too has just done one of the most recent 720 air versus on record, I guess.
Oh my God, where can you see that?
That's on his page, I'm pretty sure, on Insta. It was just obviously man drew a wedge, and Louis rides out of it pretty clean, and he's a very strong, tightly knit, I guess muscular person too, so he was just bouncing out of it.
Yoga master.
Yoga master, man. Have you seen some of the workouts he does, Manny?
No, but I was talking to him a year or two ago, 3 years ago, and I'm like, dude, put your yoga things online and sell them. People are gonna buy them. So I don't know if he went that route, but man, he was next level then.
Yeah, he's definitely taken your advice, and he's gone to another level. I think he's gone to a Super Saiyan level. It's ridiculous.
Sick.
Jace Finlay, obviously everyone's lovable oyster farmer down at on the south coast. He's one of the most incredible exports that we've had here in Australia. And then obviously you've got one of the GOATs, the top 5 bodyboarders in my opinion of all time. Dave Winchester has agreed to sign up and come. Dude, you remember all the acid drops and the crazy free falls that he's done at Shark Island, and just his commitment in air and his barrel game. It's gonna be a sight for sore eyes.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the names when I saw that name drop, along with a bunch of essentially all of them. I was like, okay, this is a must watch, because you got, the old school guys like Dave, and then Louis, Liam, and all these other Anthony, all in the same water, same wave, going at it, and it's at a wave where it's of consequence. So freaking when I saw Dave's name Winnie showing up, I'm like, yeah, definitely gonna watch this one.
Man, and then also one of his other sparring partners. Yo.
All right, go for it.
Oh, sorry. And just one of his other sparring partners, and one of the other all-time greats, has been traveling the world for the last 20 odd years and producing some of the best bodyboarding footage and material that I can remember. Toby Player has agreed to put the Rashi on again and slide into a couple of kegs. I remember in 2016 watching him in some really intense straight front on Shark Island Challenge material and conditions, and just owning it. So glad to have him on board, and can't wait to see what he does.
Yeah, he wasn't when he sent us through his list, he said, I'll be in if I don't pick a teammate, another team rider. And he actually, we know that he offered it to some people, some big names, which is good. And then it just didn't work out. People's availability. Yeah. It's all about availability as well. So we just were like, fuck, put yourself in. Just go. So he is like, yeah, I'm going. So that's good.
I mean, it seems like that's the hardest part for anybody, because it is a month-long window. And if you can't get away for that, either for that whole month, if you do have a job or if you have other family life or whatever, I mean, it's a full-on commitment to accept, because if you accept and you can't make it, then what? Like you just took a space from somebody that was ready to go all in.
Yeah. And we probably won't invite you next year.
Exactly. Right on.
Local Sammy.
Sorry about my
Yeah. So off the rank for the locals, of course, Andy Lester, he's the GOAT out there. Everyone knows it. He's been any swell out there the last 10 years. He's out there getting the best ones you can imagine, and competed in it. I don't know how many times, but
I think since 90, it was in 97. He was like 16 or 17.
Yeah, there you go. It was a no-brainer really to have Lester in there. So really keen. Has he taken one out?
He has, yeah.
He has,
Yeah. That
yeah.
was in
2015.
2015. Yeah.
I've got him one of the highest ranked to maybe take it out again. He's incredible to watch out there. Just knows the wave like no other. So really keen to see him again. And then we've got Sean Pine, competed out there. One of the best again, spin into the pit, roll out the end of surge. Just incredible to watch out there.
And just reads the wave so well.
Reads the wave really well.
Effortless.
Yeah, it looks effortless. He just like almost doesn't fail or fault on any wave. So it'd be really, really good to see him out there. Good friend of mine, actually, Jack Baker. We've got him as another local.
Who Sam Ben is sponsoring for the event.
Yeah, I'm actually sponsoring him.
Financially backed him to take it out.
Backed him, yeah.
Damn.
Company, so no pressure on him there, Jack. But yeah, again, for the last 10, 15 years, he's been out there every swell, head to head with Leicester almost, just trying to get the best ones he can and proving himself, doing World Tour events as well. He's been over to Eureka a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got pro model with handpicked now. He's on the up. I've got money on him to take it out, obviously. So
yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Well, I mean, I seen him on the world tour at a few events, and whenever the waves were under 6 foot, you could see his he's a big wave charger. He liked big waves, and when they did come up and he was still in the event, you know, he was smiling and was stoked to be out there. Absolutely. So
yeah, he the last comp in 2017, I think he got like 2 9-point rides or something in one heat, like 2 of the biggest waves of the day.
Yeah.
Made one, got absolutely flogged on the other. So he definitely loves the big waves. Hopefully we get a bombing swell for him.
Nice.
Then we've got Benny Sawyer as another local. He's just really proved himself. Every Cape Swell, Island Swell, he's been down to Shippies, South Coast, everywhere. He's just kind of there on it. Super passionate, super lovely guy. He's hungry to kind of just surf the biggest wave out there. And you just call him in, like you hear the lineup, just kind of go Benny, go, and he'll just last minute turn, airdrop into the craziest one of the day and just cop a flogging, but then also can prove himself and make some really impressive waves as well.
And you probably never met a bloke more dedicated to bodyboarding. He is just so driven. I've only recently done a podcast with him too, Manny, and just listening to him speak about bodyboarding, you can see his eyes like, he's just so into it. And his whole life is focused and driven towards bodyboarding, where a lot of other people obviously love bodyboarding but have other passions. He is just one-way traffic, this man.
He's he's got his grommet out there all the time. If it's over 6 foot, Benny will be surfing. If it's under 6 foot, he'll have his grommet out there. He's just wants his grom to get as barreled as he does. So it's so cool to see.
And I love the fact that you got these guys that are, you know, off the radar, but if you know who they are, you then see them all the time when it's big. I love that he's part of this.
And I think that's also one of the best parts of the Shark Island Challenge. It's like, you know, you have that local contingency battling against the rest of the world's best, showing what a hometown advantage can make, and also making people realize that Shark Island is not an easy set wave where you just set your line and you hone in for either a barrel and air bowl. There's 3 parts to that wave, and on any given swell with different tides and winds, that wave can change within 10, 15, 20 minutes. I'm talking, you can be cruising along, and we've had it so many times, all of us bodyboarding out there. And even Sam on the last swell been shooting for the last 3 hours and swapped his housing for a bodyboard and got a couple of kegs himself. You're coming across that wave face and you don't know what you're in store for. You might avoid White Rock and get in front of it, and you've got through the corrugated part of the reef, or you can be sitting pretty and thinking you're all casual and sweet and have your rail just ripped out from underneath you, and you're doing cartwheels across the island for the next minute. You know what I mean? So it's such a unique wave that it always throws up so many challenges. And to watch the locals versus the internationals out there is going to be such a highlight for me.
I think that's what I love about Shark Island. I've never surfed it. Probably never will. I was never like a really big wave rider on rights. And to exactly what you were talking about, riding these types of waves where every single wave is different. You don't know what it's going to do, is putting your bodyboarding experience on the line every single millisecond And I think this is one of the, even fronton, if you go left, it has some of that, but
Yeah,
the
it does.
right, it's like perfection, but this, you got to be on your game. And I think this is like one of the top, events or wave riding competitions where everything you've learned is put to the test.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what these local guys know, is just which ones to pick, which ones, where to scoop, where to grab your rail. If you can chuck a spin in as you're scooping through White Rock, like
Yeah.
that's what these locals they've proven themselves in the last 20 years or so, and that's why they're in there.
Yeah. Are you done with the list?
Well, we've got a bunch more. There's Michael Osler, who he's behind Handpicked, obviously been around the traps for a long time. Absolutely impresses every time he's in the water. Big waves, big punts. Yeah, it'd be awesome to see him out there. Good friend of the three of ours as well. So be epic to see him out there.
Definitely. And then the blow-ins, as we called them, you know what I mean? We list them. And we've got Steph Corcoalis, who is obviously blowing up the world at the moment in regards to his bodyboarding. The Portuguese export, when he came over to the East Coast, we didn't know much about him.
yeah.
And we were kind of like, oh, yeah, he seemed like he's a good bodyboarder. And then we had watched him at different sessions up and down the coast, and were lucky enough to be in the water on a couple of occasions with him. Lovely fella. But holy smokes, can that fella bodyboard, And we said to ourselves,
I
we
think I
have to put
called
him
you,
in.
hey.
Yeah, Sadler was like, we need to get this fella in. And he was so graceful in accepting our invitation, and we can't wait to see him compete. Marley Dunn needs no introduction. We've all seen what he's done recently over in Europe too, especially with his efforts there with Ben Betteridge and just banking clips at so many heavy slabs in Ireland, especially in Scotland. Cohen Thomas, a Tasmanian boy who has literally southern part of Australia light with just crazy big barrel riding feats and huge aerial maneuvers, especially in the South Australian desert. A couple of his clips, has been just really impressive. And he was going blow for blow with, as like Sabs was saying, just Tristan Roberts. So, a world champion there in himself. He was really showing his medal. Harley Ward, again, exactly the same as Cohen Thomas. They build them differently down there in Tasmania, Manny. They build them with like hair on their chest and brawn and adrenaline in their veins. It's unbelievable. So he's just done so many incredible things at Shippies, and even hitting the end bowl at Shippies on 10 to 12 foot faces and just air forwards and loops and inverts. He's a freak. So we're stoked to have him on. There is another rider that we haven't announced yet, so I'm just going to skip over that person.
Wait, whoa! Why?
No, because
come on! I want the scoop. I want the scoop.
Yeah, man. You'll definitely get a direct email as soon as this is released on Insta. But we've got to hold our cards close to the chest on this one. And then we've got Wildcards. We've got one wildcard we haven't announced yet, and he or she will probably be the last rider that we will announce. We're so stoked to have Lily Pollard in the event. You know what I mean? It's the second female who's ever been invited to the event, and we just really feel that Lily, over her time in bodyboarding around the world, not just here on the East Coast, which she's already shown at so many of the heaving slabs, that she's more than capable of taking on some of the world's best waves. She's done it internationally, and watching her win the previous pipe comp over in Hawaii, watching her just be a real community minded individual when it comes to training the next generation. A lot of her bodyboarding camps and schools have really given so much back to the community and has been driving the sport forward. And she's a real cool cat, and we're stoked to have her
big smile
on board.
Always happy, big smile.
What was her reaction? What was her reaction when you told her?
She was pumped for sure. I think when we first called her, she might have thought we were taking the piss, or like she was what do you mean? And then as the conversation, I had it on loudspeaker with Sads, and as the conversation developed, you could tell the the keenness in her voice, and she was like, oh my goodness, sweet. And then from there on in, you know, she's just been a pleasure to work with, and we're so stoked to have her on board, because it's something we want to do more of moving forward with the sport. If we can have that influence of getting female riders back into, you know, the main light of competition. I mean, I know things have been a little bit different in the last couple of years, and they haven't had as much limelight, and we really want to kind of push that forward, because, you know, you look at the WSL, for example, and you look at what Katie Simmers and Molly Picklum have done over in Hawaii recently. That's just a blueprint that we really feel like should be followed. And I know the IPC is doing a really good job currently of promoting that side of things, but we want to do it also in this invitational event, and we're stoked to have Lily on board. And then the last wild card, with the 2 trialists still to be announced in early May, is Anthony Miller. And we've already gone above and beyond talking about Anthony, and just the way he has handled himself as a young Grom. What he's done out in the service impressed us so much. And he's not just turning up on noted swells, he's turning up every week on you know, Suck Rock days, on Billy Wright days, on Cape days. He's down at Pipe so much. He's getting tutelage from like Liam Lucas and from Ben and Winnie, Jade Malcolm, also another big wave charger over from the eastern suburbs. He's been really really good with him, and just he's a good egg, you know, like he doesn't have any ego, he doesn't have any perceived
Just frothing.
He's just frothing, man. And it was so cool to have him in the comp, and I can't wait to see what he does out there, because we all know what he can do, and I think he's going to blow people's socks off.
Yeah.
Out of all those people that you've mentioned, this was a question asked from one of my Bug Life patrons, Trevor Solberg, who's going over to Australia for the DK sessions. He asked if there was any drop kneers that were invited, but Winnie, he dropped knees. But I mean, if it's 6 to 8 foot, how many of these riders in the list are going to get on the knee, if any? And let's say Winnie does get on the knee, the criteria, does that change in the scoring system?
It's a tough one.
We had an on-site meeting with Craig Haddon, and who's head judge. He was obviously head judge of APB World Tour, and he's pretty against drop knee out there in a prone division, purely because it's
hard to score.
Yeah, it can't be as fair. It's hard to score. So yeah, I advise Winnie, maybe don't.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you look back on previous comps, you've had Dave Ballard out there,
and Azza,
and Aaron Glossop, and they've also DK'd some very heavy waves. Like Aaron has DK'd Cape, which, you know, is a feat within itself. But I guess when as Sad said, as it comes to the prone division, they can definitely throw the knee up if they would like. I just don't think that it's going to score well with the judges. And if it's a prone event, I think they need to stick to the prone side of things. But that's not to say in the future, if we have a bigger, comp structure, that we could include maybe a DK heat out there.
Yeah.
Why are you guys limiting the amount of entries to 20? Was it 24, 25?
25.
Yeah. What's the reason for the limitation of the entries?
I think it's Mother Nature, unfortunately, Manny. Because
high tide.
Yeah, we've really only got a window of 6 hours, and Sad Sam and myself have actually gone over the title calendar for 2024, and really out of the 5-week waiting period we currently have, there's only about 21 days, is it?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's like 21 days, 22 days that actually have viable high tides that would allow us to be able to run a 6-hour competition, including a final, in proper conditions. Because we all know, as the island gets below a meter, usually that's the sweet spot. It does start to suck out and almost becomes unmakeable at times on the end bowl. That would be argued by, say, some of the heavier locals around here who just go and surf it regardless on any tide. But for a product being broadcast to the world, and to be fair, and international riders who are traveling vast amounts of miles and kilometers to come here, I think it would be best if we just keep it in that 6-hour window with the proper tides and swells and winds. I guess the hardest thing about Shark Island is it's an unbelievable wave and we all know what it can do. But for us here as locals, we only get to sample it at that level, if we're lucky, 3 to 4 times a year. And that's if we're lucky. So to have a swell break in this this event window, we really need to capitalize on that time and only that time available.
Are you guys doing any like spiritual dances or any seances or anything to help make that happen?
Yeah, every week we actually us three go out into the island at low tide and all hold hands and just like produce a hymn, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Louis Finnegan helps us.
Yeah, we get some breathing.
Well, keep that going. Let me see. Let me look at my notes real quick. The judging criteria for the event and the format.
Yeah. We so the format will be 5-man heats. 40 minute heats. And it'll be it's a very cutthroat event. It's a very hard event to run. So we have to, there's 5 riders in each heat.
Yeah.
Only 2 will progress. 2 out of 5 progress, making that so 5-man heats, 2 5-man semis, top 2 out of each semi go through to a 4-man final. Every heat, every semi, every final is 40 minutes rather than most competitions are 25. And obviously you only have to get your 2 best waves over 40 minutes, which should be doable for every rider.
Yeah, on a pumping swell.
Yeah, and Craig is going to run a priority system as well on the 5 riders. And that adds up to exactly 6 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's literally nothing to play with there.
And I guess the criteria, Manny, would be obviously we want to see people, and this will be sent out to the riders obviously before the event starts. And Craig will really hone this into, a finer, more condensed dot point form. But essentially, it's like we want to see the biggest waves, the deepest barrels, and if you can, push in a move out at the end or in the middle of the island. We've seen Jerry, Jacob Romero do that
Oh
on
my God.
Yeah.
So, but I guess really the essence of Shark Island has always been the biggest waves, the deepest barrels, and drawing the most critical lines to maneuver yourself over that shallow rock ledge.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys that I've seen hitting the lip where no other human would even think about it. It makes it's going to be an exciting event. That's all I can say. So I will send out the good vibes too to make it happen for at least one day. Let me look down my list. The launch party, is that also where you're going to do the heat draw?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
We're going to do a hat, pick it out of the hat basically. And
Yeah, can we do 5 hats for the 5 things that we pulled up?
Yeah,
5
yeah.
heats.
So that's where it'll happen. Yeah, it'll be happening at Curating Lane. So thanks to them for letting us host that on the 23rd. So most of the riders should be out by then.
Yeah.
And that's where we'll be doing the heat draw for sure.
Will you be broadcasting that live as well?
Conversation we haven't had.
No, we haven't.
Potentially, maybe
we
just
can
an
look into it.
Instagram live feed or something.
Yeah,
would be
that's
good,
true,
just off the
yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's how wild the night gets.
Yeah, because that would be exciting to watch too, because it will be able to be
definitely.
part of
Good
it and
idea.
see who's lining up with who. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, I'd say just maybe off the platform on Instagram could be a good way to just live feed it from there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Super, super easy nowadays. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then the event window, hopefully you guys get that one day. And at the presentation, what do you guys have planned there? And will that be live?
Yeah, that's going to be held
Have to be.
at Kurnell Rec Club. So that's all locked in. They've been amazing along the process of choosing a venue for the promo. But yeah, I guess we'll live feed that as well. Maybe even just an Instagram feed.
Yeah, because the winner's not announced till the present.
Yeah. Mark just said the winner's not announced till the presentation. So everyone will be holding out to hear who's won. We won't announce it on the headland there straight after the event.
You have to come to the present.
Yeah, everyone will have to come to Kurnell Rec Club and have a beer and a listen to who's won.
Yeah, if anyone's listening to this, please, everyone just pile out there because it's an amazing establishment.
Oh, it's huge.
And
Yeah,
they've been
We're
so
all-
good.
Yeah.
And like it gets pretty rowdy. So anything goes out there. Let's have a go at Colonel Red Club.
Yeah.
And it sounds like what you're doing different from years before, streaming it live. And what else are you guys doing different from the 2017 event?
Differences.
Well, we probably want to go off the 2016 event. 2017 event was great, but didn't have the same kind of backing around it just because of, again, we're talking about external factors and previously in the potty. But I guess like the differences would be that we're trying to get various brands involved. I mean, again, as Mark was speaking about earlier, like we've got a lot of individual rider sponsorship now, which brings a lot more, various stakeholders into the competition. And that has been a really cool part of it to get a further outreach into the community. It's not just very secular in the way that, like, it's kind of invitational only, and you're just turning up and these are the riders chosen. There's a lot more people having their say and their opinion, and we're trying to work with a lot of different groups,
a lot of community involvement. We've got some local cafes, restaurant, Loaf getting on board for food, and then we've got some real estate, and there'll be a few setups on the headland for brands to kind of and activations to exhibit their local presence here. So a good community event as well, which has always been the case in the previous years, but I think this way we've got a few good brands that are actually going to have some activations and presence there at the comp.
And also one of the main differences, we've had an absolute local legend, Curly, shout out to the man himself, who has given over his Hawaiian style house up on the point, one of the only 2-story brick buildings left on the Cronulla Esplanade that has been saved from development. And we're able to do the judging out of there. We're about to do the live commentary out of there. And you could not ask for a more perfect view of the island front on. So I think that's going to be a huge saving point, because obviously beforehand it was run out of certain tents, or you had like the big boat in the channel, which again, Mark and Sam have already organised again. So there's all those factors there, but having that central point of the house, I think, is really going to make logistically the event work in a much more operationally sound manner.
And probably, sorry, I'll just add to the boys. With the innovative productions, we've spent a lot of money on the on live stream and pre-production, post-production, and Sam's studio here. They've put in so much time and money towards this thing because it's all about the internet, whereas it hasn't been in past. So we've really concentrated on bringing that up, and then obviously that helps with jumping sponsorships. If you have a bigger live stream, bigger reach, people pay a bit more money.
Yeah, keeping everyone connected to the event so everyone can stream it easily enough and have the best picture possible, because the generation we're living in, it's all about quality in your phone, and you need to have that fast stream service so that everyone can watch it as it happens and not have any faults through that.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a handful of people on the beach, but 100,000 people watching online, I mean, that is where we are right now. And the people that, I mean, I've been to events where people are chiming in, hey, I'm here in Iquique, 2 blocks from the event. I'm like, why are you watching? Like, come down here. But that's where people are. Like we're all connected, and it's easier for people to watch it and see the replays and hear the commentating from the pleasure of their own home in their couch, rather than being on the beach and having to find parking, all of that thing. So good on you guys for seeing that for what it is. It's like, it's on the internet and being it live stream. Super pumped on that.
The in-person event as well, it's in the best spot in the suburb. It's right on the end of the peninsula. It's like an amphitheater to watch this wave. So no matter what, there's going to be people walking by. There's going to be hundreds of people on the headland watching. It happens anytime there's even just a regular swell. You'll just get walkers by, pull up and stop and watch the wave. And it'll be the same for the comp, just elevated and times 1,000. Hopefully, we'll just have people everywhere out there, which would be exciting.
Yeah, we're all excited. Everybody I'm talking to, Steve Action Jackson, unfortunately, he couldn't make it. He had to be at work, but he's beyond excited and he's naming all these stats. And here's my notes that I got off of his website, which is bodyboarding 101. But yeah, he's frothing. He's frothing on the event. But yeah, good job, you guys. Thanks again for taking the time. And I think I hit all the things that I wanted to mention. Did we miss anything, or do you guys want to say anything?
Yeah, we forgot to mention the Best Barrel Award. So back in the day when 40 and Nugget used to run it, they teamed up with Cronulla Surf Travel, I think, who's not around anymore. They used to do a surf charter for the Best Barrel Award. So obviously we want to show some recognition to the older way it was ran. So we hit up Dean Fergus at Secret Sumatra. He jumped on straight away. He's like, I'm shouting a 10-day trip to Secret Sumatra for Best Barrel. So that'll be amazing. So that's so good. And
that's another incentive, really.
Yeah. And that's
then
not cheap these days. Like obviously that's a few $1,000s, and that's a lifetime trip. You get the best barrel of the day at Shark Island, and then you get a free 10-day trip to Sumatra.
Yeah.
Where you can probably get another amazing barrel.
Yeah, exactly.
And the name of that award?
No, that's Secret Sumatra.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But then we've got another award that Sam would like to elaborate on.
Yeah, we've got this is the heaviest wave award, isn't it?
For sure.
Yeah, which is going to be named after one of the local legends, Ringer. So we've called it the Ringer Award. Basically the gnarliest, heaviest barrel that goes down on the day, to pay homage to him, to the crazy shit he's done out there. Always going the biggest, gnarliest one. So we've got an award to represent that.
Holy crap. So is it possible to win them both? The craziest
and you can win the comp.
And you can win.
Oh my God. All right, Anthony, let's see what you got.
Yeah,
elaborate on the Ringer Award. You've got a framed photo of you.
Yeah, we've got a photograph that I've shot of Ringer. That was probably 8 years ago or so now. And that's being presented by the Bowls Club, is that correct? Tarrant Point Bowling Club.
Yeah.
So they've got behind that award with $5,000 cash, I believe.
Holy shit.
So yeah, some big prizes getting thrown down. So everyone's going to go hard for this big barrel.
And the reason we wanted to really pay homage to Ringer, as to elaborate what Sam said, is because he, throughout the last decades, has pushed the culture of you go, and if you commit, you just go. And it doesn't matter if it's looking dicey or if it's looking like a perfect one. If you commit to that wave at the island, you must go. And that's something we've really got to kind of give a shout out to the older generation. It's instilled throughout the younger generations, is that if you're committed out there, you will get respect. And that's what that award's all about.
And awarded, basically.
Yeah, and awarded for sure.
And yeah, we called Ringer the other day about it, and he was mind blown. He's like, "What do you mean, really?" Oh, he's like stoked. He's like, "Oh, thank you so much. It means so much." Because we said it's also not just he was like the biggest charger out there, because he was sort of one generation above us.
Yeah.
And then there was like Rissole, Ballard, Wazza, those guys above them, Nugget, those guys above them.
Yeah.
So Ringer's sort of more related to us, and we pick the award. We run the show. And we want to give it to him because he's a very nice person, very polite.
Legend of a dude.
He's got his head screwed on. He's got a good job. He's got a beautiful family. He's a good person to look up to.
Yeah.
So we want this award to be annual. So we want this. Yeah, it's a pretty important award to us.
Definitely.
And we all picked. So I described this award to them. I said, we want to give it to the person who, gets the heaviest wave. He just goes well out there. Everyone loves him. He's a character of the sport, still loves it. And I said to the boys, just say one name. And they both go, Ringer. And like, sweet tick.
It was unanimous for sure.
Got a good ring name as well.
Hey!
Put him through the ringer.
Yeah, put him through the ringer, brother.
Well, congrats you guys for taking the reins once again. And I'm telling you, everybody I'm talking to, and the marketing you guys have done so far has been on point. But yeah, I am super stoked. Send me all the information as soon as you get it. I'll disperse it everywhere I can. And yeah, you got my contact. I have yours. So if anything, we need anything, I'll reach out to you guys.
Awesome. I
Happy
guess
days.
one more question. What are you doing, Manny? You coming over?
Tessa needs a partner, needs a co-anchor.
Yeah.
God, commitment. That's my problem too.
Yeah.
I do surf tours here from out of San Diego, and I got a group in Costa Rica at the end of the May for a week. And I do have a couple trips to Baja, Mexico in between there. So if I would have known last year, November, when I made my calendar, yeah, things would be different. I would be on a plane out there for sure. But I'll be watching along with, I'm sure, all my Bug Life patrons, the live stream as soon as you let us know.
Yeah, sweet. And man, well, if we want to make that commitment, hopefully for next year, Manny, like if we can give you a shout out, man, as the boys just said, like you've been the voice of bodyboarding in our
Amazing.
eyes for the last 2 decades, and we loved your commentary back on the APB. So we would love to have you over here, man. And the bodyboarding world needs a couple more booms. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Bring it
Oh
back,
man. I would be booming the shit out of everything at that event. I wouldn't be able to contain myself, but I appreciate that. And it sounds like you guys are ready to keep this thing rolling too. So yeah, crossing my fingers, sending out good vibes that we get that day for you guys during that contest window, the 24th of May through June 30th. So yeah, I appreciate it. Definitely keep me in mind, and I would be there in an instant.
Sick. Stoked to hear, man. Stoked
Sounds
to hear.
good.
Thanks so much for having us, eh?
Thanks so much, Manny.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
thanks you guys. I'll talk to you guys
See you.
later. Good job.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was sick.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.